So, good day everyone. So, in this video, no, we have five topics that we will be discussing. But as you can see in the title, no, combine ko na lang siya into one title, which is the evolution and history of language from its origins to modern linguistic. So, let's go start with our first topic, which is the historical timeline of noteworthy linguists. So, before we discuss how language developed throughout history, let us first look at the important scholars or linguists who contributed to the study of language. So, in this topic, we will explore the ideas and contributions of different linguists and philosophers, starting from Aristotle, who studied language and communication, up to modern linguists like Ferdinand de Saussure and Noam Chomsky. So through their works, we will see how the study of language gradually changed from focusing on grammar and communication to understanding language as a system, as a social phenomenon, and even a part of human cognition. Okay. So without further ado, now let's go start with Aristotle. So Aristotle, one of the earliest philosophers who studied language, examined the relationship between words, meanings, and reality, contributed to the early ideas about grammar and part of speech. So itong si Aristotle, he is one of the earliest philosophers who studied about language and communication. Although hindi si Aristotle, he's not a linguist. No, he's not a linguist in a modern sense. No, but naging malaking foundation yung mga ideas niya sa pag-aaral ng language at rhetoric. So for Aristotle, it is important to understand the relationship between words, meanings, and reality. Ibig sabihin, pinag-aaralan niya kung paano natin ginagamit yung mga words to represent our ideas, experiences. So moving on, nag-contribute din siya sa early ideas about grammar and part of speech. He studied how words function in a sentences. Kaya nakatulong ito sa pagbuo or to widen the understanding kung paano ba or how language is really structured. Okay? So aside from language itself, kilala rin si Aristotle sa kanyang study of rhetoric. Again, ang rhetoric is it's about how the speaker or as a person use language effectively to influence, to persuade, or to communicate well with people or with audiences. So moving on, let's go with Aristotle's model of communication. So ang model of communication ni Aristotle is one of the earliest models that explain how communication works. Tinatawag itong a linear model focusing on effective public speaking, explains how communication occurs through 5 components. Tinatawag itong linear model kasi yung message, it only flows only in one direction only, from the speaker to the audience. Pero wala pang concept ng feedback or response mula sa receiver. Kasi ang focus lang naman ng model na ito, it's kung paano magiging effective ang isang speaker, especially kapag gusto niya mag-inform, persuade, o maka-influence ng audience. So according to Aristotle, meron tayong 5 important components ng communication. We have the first, speaker, speech, audience, occasion, and effect. So kapag speaker, of course, the person who delivers the message. Kapag ang speech, the message that being delivered. Audience, the people that are receiving or people who receives the message. Occasion, the context, yung situation, purpose, kung saan nangyari yung communication na yun. Effect naman, of course, ito yung result or impact ng message sa audience. So moving on, let's go with three elements of persuasion or yung rhetorical appeals, which is the ethos, pathos, and logos. So kapag ethos, no, it's the credibility or character of the speaker. And just say, no, is the authority ng speaker. Meaning na kapag mas kapaniwala talaga yung message, no, when it comes, or itong message na to comes from someone na na is professional, no? Meron siyang authority to say that a certain message, no? For example, kapag yung isang doktor, no, he give information about health, no, of course, mas nagiging convincing siya kasi it is related sa kanyang expertise, no? Which is he is professional, no? Next is we have the pathos. It's the emotional connection with the audience. Ginagamit ito kapag gusto ng speaker na ma-feel ng audience yung message niya. For example, paggamit ng inspiring stories or emotional examples para mas maging relatable ang topic, no? Lastly is we have the logos, use of facts and reasoning to support ideas. So ito naman, no, ito yung, of course, is the usage of facts, evidence, or a logical reasoning to support the idea. It's nagiging convincing yung isang argument but it's supported by information or proof, no? In simple terms, no, mas magiging effective yung persuasion according to Aristotle kung meron tayong these three appeals, no? With ethos, pathos, and logos. Moving on, let's go with Robert Laut, no? Si Robert Laut, he is an English bishop, scholar, and grammarian known for his influence on English grammar. He also published a short introduction to English grammar, one of the most influential English grammar books. So, si Robert Laut, isa siyang English bishop, scholar, and grammarian na naging importanteng figure sa development ng English grammar. Kasi unlike kay Aristotle, no, na mas nakafocus siya sa communication and rhetoric, itong si Laut naman ay mas nag-focus siya sa rules and structure of language. Yung one of his important contribution is of course yung prescriptive grammar. Again, ang prescriptive grammar, it is an approach to set rules kung paano ba dapat gamitin ng language, no? Nung 1761, no, he introduced or he published this book that entitled A Short Introduction to English Grammar. So, yung book na ito, it gives guidelines about sentence structures, spelling, and proper usage of English. Of course, malaki yung naging influence ni Laut, no? Because he helped, no, to establish the standard English grammar na ginagamit na sa schools. However, no, sa modern linguistic, kinikilala rin na natural, no, na nagbabago yung language. It means to say na hindi lahat ng ginagamit ng tao sa actual communication ay laging sumusunod sa traditional grammar rules. Overall, no, naging mahalaga, no, of course, si Robert Laut because he changed, no, kung paano tinuturo or naiintindihan ang English grammar. Marami sa grammar rules na natututunan natin ngayon ay may connection sa kanyang prescriptive grammar. Okay? So, let's move on to William Jones. Si William Jones ay isang British philologist, scholar, and judge who studied Asian languages, especially Sanskrit. Known for his contribution to the study of language families, observed similarities among Sanskrit, Greek, and Latin, proposed that these languages may have developed from a common ancestral language. So this idea became the foundation of the Indo-European language family. So si William Jones he is a British philologist, scholar, and judge na become known for his contribution sa pag-aaral or study of language relationships, no? So, isa sa mga pinag-aralan niya, no, is yung language na Sanskrit, which is an ancient language from India. No, so one of his important contribution is, of course, the field ng comparative linguistic. Again, ang comparative linguistic, it is to compare different languages to see their similarities or kung may historical connection ba sila. Okay? So habang pinag-aaralan niya yung Sanskrit, no, he noticed some similarities nito with Greek and Latin when in terms of vocabulary and structure of language. Dahil sa ideas niya na to, no, or dahil dito sa mga napansin niyang similarities, no, naisip niya na baka yung mga languages, no, it did not develop separately, no, but it is possible that they came from a common ancestral language. So dito nagsimula yung idea na ng Indo-European language family, no, kung saan of course kabilang yung languages tulad ng English, Greek, Latin at Sanskrit. Okay? So let's talk about major works ni William Jones. So he published a grammar of the Persian language. His studies encourage the systematic comparison of language. So, isa sa mga major works niya, major works ni William is the publication of a grammar of the Persian language noong 1771. So, ipinakita niya dito, no, that how deep or gaano kalalim yung pagsustudy niya ng Asian languages, and nakatulong ito, no, para mas maintindihan ng mga scholars ang mga languages na hindi lamang galing sa Europe. Okay, it's outside Europe. And because of his studies, no, mas naging systematic ang comparison ng languages. Meaning to say na hindi na lang basta-basta ang pinag-aaralan ang isang language ng mag-isa, no, but it also looks kung paano ba ito connected to other languages. Okay? So, how about importance, no? Importance ni William Jones. Of course, he helped establish historical and comparative linguistics. He also changed the study of language from simply describing grammar to understanding how languages are related and develop over time. So, of course, no, very important itong si William Jones because he helped establish the historical and comparative linguistics. Kasi before him, no, yung language studies before, it's mainly focuses on the grammar rules, no, ng isang language. And si William, no, he changed that perspective. No, he changed his perspective na pinakita niya na pwedeng pag-aralan yung relationships ng iba't ibang language to know their shared origins. And because of his idea, no, mas naintindihan ng mga linguists or mga scholars na ang languages, it's not isolated, but it can also have a larger language families, no, where it may come to a common ancestor. Okay. So, next, we have Ferdinand de Saussure. He is a father of a modern linguistic, structural linguistic. A Swiss linguist whose ideas greatly influenced modern linguistics, known as a father of modern linguistics because he introduced a new way of studying language, proposed that language is a system of signs, introduced the concept of linguistic sign which consists of signifier and signified. So itong si Ferdinand, no, isa siyang Swiss linguist, come from Switzerland. He is a father of modern linguistics because of his dahil malaki, no, ang kanyang naging influence sa modern study of language. Of course, ang approach na natatawag na structural linguistic, kung saan it looks, no, na ang language, no, isang system na may iba't ibang parts na of course nagtutulungan sila para makabuo ng meaning. Okay? So, language is a system of signs, no? According to Saussure, no, ang language daw ay isang systems of signs. Ibig sabihin, ang mga words, sounds, at symbols na ginagamit natin ay may meaning.